Hey, what's up guys, Hunter Force here, and boy has Ubisoft hit us with a doozy today. They've announced Year 2, Season 2, Operation Health. So Operation Health is an operation fully dedicated to improving the game's systems, improving the game's health, and fixing a lot of the issues the community has been upset about, but at the cost of releasing a DLC a whole season late. That's 3 months late. Whether or not they had the DLC ready is something else entirely, and it's a little disappointing after the leaks that came out recently that I covered in previous videos. Now, they are touting 3 pillars to their Operation Health. They have Pillar 1, technological improvements, including one-step matchmaking, a simplified and faster flow. Now, I think that when they say this, they mean a back-end system for matching players based on skill level and players against each other, which would be very good to have, and I think is mainly meant to focus on reducing queue times at higher levels of play. The second part of the first pillar is 100% server-based features, dedicated voice and party system, less errors for players, and more reliable. Now, this makes a lot of sense to me. If you don't already know, NAT type does a lot to restrict voice over between you and your teammates if you have a strict or moderate NAT, for example. So if you've ever had a strict NAT and your teammates weren't saying anything, or you were saying something and your teammates weren't responding, that's not necessarily because they just weren't talking or weren't responding. If you had a strict NAT type, it actually just wasn't getting through. The other big thing about this is that because they're mentioning 100% server-based features, we can expect to see things like smoke now officially on the server. That's absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've ever come across this in the past, because they have taken some steps to improve this, but smoke was client-side, meaning that the enemy might be able to see you, and you can't see them from your own smoke, and as a result, you got shot, and you freaked out because you couldn't see them, but they could see you because it was 100% client-side. Now, what I love about this first pillar, the technological improvements, is the faster servers, higher tick rate, and improved hit registration. Improved hit registration is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, a better ability to detect whether or not a bullet has hit you or hit your opponent. And it's something that people have been asking for a while now, and the fact that we're sort of getting more of a focus on this, I think, is very good. But what I love is the higher tick rate. Now, if you don't already know, the tick rate is sort of like a refresh rate for the server. Think of it like your computer monitor or your television. Your computer monitor or television, if it has a 60 Hz refresh rate, is only going to refresh so many times a second, and something like 144 Hz will make it refresh much faster, meaning you'll get faster updates to a pixel, faster updates to your eye, and as a result, the information being displayed to you is more up to date. This is essentially what's happening with the server. By improving the tick rates of the server, more data is being sent more often from you to the server and being sent back, meaning the positioning but for every single player compared to each other is more up to date. In addition, it means that your bullets and everything you do is more up to date. And as a result, you're going to get a lot more accurate gameplay. Everything is going to be up to date. The delay between updates means that you won't sort of get people that are slightly out of position to where they were. If you've ever died behind a corner, this is probably partially due to tick rate. Now, the second one is a new development process. Now, they mentioned 3 steps deployment, where they focus on the technical test server, going to PC, and then console. Kind of something they already did. I mean, they always, with the DLCs and a lot of the updates, it went PC and then console. I guess the big thing here is that because they introduced the technical test server, that comes first now, which makes sense, but I mean, okay. Now, the second part, the on-off switch, the ability to roll back faster to previous systems in case of emergency, means that essentially if they screw something up really bad, they can revert it and undo it. And I don't know if you know this, but I think a Ubisoft developer said in the past that the Habana pellets were actually an issue buried a lot deeper in the system than they anticipated. And so as a result, they essentially had to go through a huge back set of system fixing and a huge set of coding in order to get their issue resolved, and it's still not completely resolved. But basically, if they're going to make changes to stuff like that, it's very well that they might make a mistake. I mean, it's coding, bugs always happen, and so as a result, if something truly gets messed up, rather than having a game that's just unplayable for a few days, they could just say, whoa, step it back, fix the issue, and then roll out another update where it actually works. And then the last thing is bug fix sprints. The top reported bugs by the community. They address the top reported bugs in small batches to keep an eye on efficiency. Now, when I see this, what I'm thinking they're going to do is they're going to focus more on the bugs the community is upset about, as opposed to bugs that happen in general. Small bugs that happen off to the side that don't really impact gameplay or impact things, they're gonna fix, but they might take a lower priority compared to the bugs that we as the community find much more annoying. Now, the big drawback to Operation Health is its impact on the Year 2 roadmap. So they said Operation Health will follow a much more iterative process and new development philosophy in 3 steps, ensuring we gradually inject new developments. For instance, the 1-step matchmaking will be released in their 3-step process of the technical test server, PC, and then the Xbox and PS4 or the consoles. And so with the release of Operation Health, they will be pushing back Hong Kong DLC, and as a result, it'll be releasing in August as part of Season 3, and South Korea in November during Season 4. And unfortunately, this means that there's no dedicated season to Poland, and so as a result, they will be releasing their GROM operators at the start of Season 3 and 4. And finally, the major drawback. Finally, we have decided to reduce the number of new maps to 3 this year, including the one released in Spain, that's Operation Velvet Shell, to truly prioritize our game's health. Now, this means that if you were expecting 4 maps, you're now getting 3. You're getting 8 new operators and 3 new maps, as opposed to 8 new operators and 4 new maps. Now, I can see people getting upset about this because you bought the Season 2 pass and you were expecting 8 new operators and 4 new maps, but now you're getting 8 new operators and 3 new maps. I hope they'll make up for it in the future, but the game's health really does kind of take priority over a single map, for example. It sucks that everything's been delayed, but if they can truly fix a lot of the issues they've been discussing, I think it'll greatly help Rainbow Six Siege in the long run. Already, the Rainbow Six Siege community is larger than the CSGO one on ESL, and as a result, if Rainbow Six truly wants to develop into a competitive title, they have to fix a lot of the issues with hit registration. As always, guys, leave a like if you liked the video, a dislike if you did not, and think about getting subscribed to stay up to date on more content like this. Ubisoft has gratefully announced that they will be releasing constant updates about their progress during the Operation Health, so I guess at least we won't be kept in the dark. But feel free to leave a comment down below with what you think of this recent change of Ubisoft. Does it just sort of come out of blue? Is it a bit more surprising? I mean, it surprised me. Did it surprise you as much as it did me? Do you think this is a step in the right direction, a step in the wrong direction? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think.